All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. City Council, first City Council meeting of 2024. Welcome to Chester City Council. We're going to start off with our prayer and pledge.
Okay. Oh God of might.
We'll rise.
O God of might, wisdom and justice, through whom authority is rightly administered, laws enacted and judgment decreed, assist us, we beseech thee, that this city council may be conducted in righteousness and be eminently useful to thy people over whom we preside. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilors Gibson.
Here.
Green.
Present.
West.
Present.
Davis.
Present.
Mayor Roots.
Present. Approve of the minutes, and please tell us what minutes we're approving.
It's the last of the minutes in December, the last meeting in
December
December.
19th.
Because we did not have a meeting yet. So far, this is the first meeting of January. So I don't have the date. We're approving the minutes for the last meeting in December.
It was December 19th.
We also have the minutes. Did you all receive the minutes for the reorganizational meeting?
But there were no minutes. Or was there?
There was. They went out yesterday. Did everybody
Yeah.
review them?
So is that the one you want to do? And
No, we're doing all the ones that are outstanding. I was
Okay.
just, do you know which ones we're approving?
I think December 19th, but, and then the one from January
Second.
2nd.
Okay.
I don't have that though.
Has everyone read and reviewed those?
Then we have a meeting
I
after
haven't received
December.
neither one of them.
And I don't have it. They were emailed. I saw that Candace emailed them.
I received the minutes via
She emailed them to me too. Yeah.
today.
City clerk.
My apologies, everyone. The meetings are two from December 27th and the budget hearing, and then organization meeting. They all went out. Everybody should have got it.
Okay, do you have the date for the budget?
27th.
The
So it's December
27th?
27th was the budget hearing,
Okay.
then the
And
council, and then we had the organization.
January 2nd
That's
reorg.
the organization meeting.
Right.
Okay. So from the sounds of what I'm hearing, not everyone has received and or reviewed these minutes. Some of it may be due to the fact that we're transitioning. It took a little while for everyone to get their email addresses and such. So we're going to not approve minutes today until I'm told that all of you guys have received and read them. I don't want you to be in a position to approve minutes or not approve them if you haven't reviewed them. So we'll move on from there.
Should we make a motion to table it?
Do we need a motion to table that?
It's on the agenda, so I would have a motion to table it.
So moved. That we table the reading, the approval of the minutes.
Yeah, second.
We can talk about that after the meeting, because nothing jumped back at. So we'll talk about it after the meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of tabling minutes for this meeting, approval of minutes? Roll call? We didn't do roll call?
For the motion that's on the floor?
Yeah. All right.
Councilors Gibson.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes.
Resolution.
Oh, hold on. Public comments. Go ahead. Public comments on action items only. Those are on the agenda. Do we have any? Seeing or hearing none, let's go right to the resolutions.
Resolution. Whereas Chester City Council approved resolution number 223-2023 on December 13th, 2023, which is amended to read as follows. Whereas the City of Chester hired Sonia Sutton for the position of payroll specialist, Department of Finance, effective January 2nd, 2024, for 37.5 hours per week with no benefits and a 60-day probationary period. And whereas said employment is contingent upon said individual successfully completing a 60-day probation from the date of hire, and whereas the city is required by law to offer said employee medical benefits after 60 consecutive days of employment, which is completed on March 1st, 2024, and whereas the city has determined there is a need to extend the probationary period an additional 30 days from the date of hire, with the extended probationary period ending on April 1st, 2024. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve. Further, if said employee fails to meet the job expectations within the 90-day probation, said employee will no longer be eligible for the position and will be subject to termination from said position.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas Jorge Garcia wishes to purchase 207 East 10th Street for use as a side yard for his property at 205 East 10th Street. And whereas the Board of the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Chester has approved the Redevelopment Authority entering into an agreement of sale with Mr. Garcia, conditioned upon approval of the agreement by the City Council of the City of Chester. And whereas the property is located in a redevelopment area in the City of Chester, and as such, the sale, lease, or transfer of such property is subject to approval by Chester City Council under the Urban Redevelopment Law at 35 PS Section 1709K. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does approve the agreement of sale between the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Chester and Jorge Garcia in connection with sale of 207 East 10th Street.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas the City of Chester intends to submit an application for fiscal year 2024 funding under the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD's Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program, and Home Investment Partnerships, HOME program. And whereas one of the requirements of these programs is to inform the citizens of the City of Chester regarding the city's intended uses for the funds requested from HUD under the CDBG and HOME programs, and whereas the City of Chester is required to prepare a draft of the fiscal year 2024 CDBG and HOME Action Plan, which identifies the projects and program activities on which the program year 2024 CDBG and HOME funds are proposed to be spent. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it authorizes the Chester Economic Development, CEDA, to take the appropriate steps to ensure that the requirements for action plan preparation and public notification are met, and to advertise the availability of the draft FY 2024 CDBG/HOME Action Plan in accordance with the appropriate federal regulations.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Roll call.
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas Chester City Council approved Resolution number 106-2023 on June 15, 2023, to award the contract for professional services for Fire Station number 81 addition and renovations, Project 36, to S.J. Thomas, for which responses were received through Keystone Purchasing Network, KPN, for the award amount of $86,217.90. which is to be paid from American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds, Project 36, and whereas the city has complied with all KPN bidding requirements, and whereas it has been determined there is a need for a change to the scope of work in order to complete the project. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby approve change order number 1 to the subrecipient agreement between the City of Chester and S.J. Thomas Company, Inc. for Fire Station number 81 addition and renovations, Project 36, to add a design fee to include geotechnical engineering services for the footings, which is necessary to complete the foundation design, thereby increasing the agreement price by $16,318.71. Further, that all work performed pursuant to change order number 1 shall be completed in accordance with the specifications and to the satisfaction of the city and its engineer. Even further, all the work listed on change order number 1 will be funded through ARPA, Project 36.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, any questions? Roll call.
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby accept the quote received through Keystone Purchasing Network, KPN, for the Public Works Building upgrades and additions, Project 27, from S.J. Thomas Company, Inc., that shall be paid from American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds, in the amount of $768,221.16. Further, the city has complied with all KPN bidding requirements. Further, the contract is contingent upon final review and approval of the city solicitor.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, any questions? Roll call.
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby award the contract for the Public Works Garage Site Improvement, Project 27, for the City of Chester, for which bids were received on December 5th, 2023, to JMC Contractors, Inc., at the lowest responsible bid price of $1,455,290. Further, that all other bids for the above be and they are hereby rejected, and checks and/or bid bonds accompanying said bids shall be returned to the unsuccessful bidders. Further, that the solicitor's office shall review a contract and the successful bidder shall furnish the performance bond in the full amount of the contract in accordance with the specifications and to the satisfaction of City Council.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Roll.
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas Chester City Council approved Resolution number 147-2022 on August 24th, 2022, to award the City of Chester Municipal Building Roof Replacement Option 2, Project 11, to S.J. Thomas, for which responses were received through Keystone Purchasing Network, KPN, for the award amount of $382,422.85, which is to be paid from American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds, Project 11. And whereas Chester City Council approved Resolution number 207-2022 on December 14th, 2022, to accept change order number 1 to increase the contract price by $2,019.79 for changes to Project 11, scope of work to include additional caulking and resetting of the metal panel on building facade for an adjusted contract price of $384,442.64. And whereas the city has complied with all KPN bidding requirements, and whereas it has been determined There is a need for a change to the scope of work in order to complete the project. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby approve change order number 2 to increase the adjusted contract price by $11,677.18 for changes to Project 11 scope of work due to the payment of building permit fees that were not a part of the original contract for a final contract price of $396,119.82. All the work listed will be funded through ARPA Project 11. Further, all work is to be performed to the satisfaction of Chester City Council and the city engineer.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, any comments? Roll.
Councilors Gibson,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes.
Resolution. This resolution, approved and adopted by the Council of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, on the date hereinafter set forth. Whereas Section 7503 of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Services Code 35 PA CS Section 7101 mandates that the City of Chester prepare, maintain, and keep current an emergency operations plan, EOP, for the prevention and minimization of injury and damage caused by a major emergency or disaster within this city. And whereas in response to the mandate stated above, this city has prepared an emergency operations plan, EOP, to provide prompt and effective emergency response procedures to be followed in the event of a major emergency or disaster. And whereas this city has also prepared an emergency operations plan, EOP, in order to reduce the potential effects of a major emergency or disaster. And now, therefore, we, the undersigned council of the City of Chester, do hereby approve, adopt, and place into immediate effect the Emergency Operations Plan of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. This plan shall be reviewed every year to make certain that it conforms with the requirements of the Delaware County Emergency Operations Guideline. Further, the City of Chester does hereby authorize Mayor Stefan Roots, Deputy Mayor Portia West, Emergency Management Coordinator John Paul Shirley, and City Clerk Candace Newsom to execute for and on behalf of the City of Chester all required forms and documents of the Emergency Operations Plan.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll.
Councilors Gibson?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. That was excellent.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That concludes the resolutions that we had on the agenda today. I want you guys to pay special attention to the 4 resolutions that referred to the ARPA, American Rescue Plan money. That's the $34 million that the city received from the government. I really need you guys to keep a close eye on all those. They're numbered by project number. There were 3 resolutions today. They referred to 3 items. One is the roof here. We have spent some of that money on the roof here to repair and replace. Dock Street is where our public works folks headquarter, the equipment, the salt, the personnel, the trucks. That facility needs to be knocked down and rebuilt. So that's what those funds are being used for. And project number 11 is, the fire station. So both fire stations are being repaired, upgraded. The one on 3rd and Tillman is having an addition put on it. There's a little bit of land that they can actually put an addition on there for more storage. It's going to require moving some people around, so if you ride down there and see trailers, that's where the personnel will be held for the months that they'll be renovating the insides. I'd like to welcome our Delaware County District Attorney who's visiting us today. Jack Stolzheimer, thank you for joining. That's a surprise. Good to see you. We've got 3 presentations today, although only 2 show up on our agenda. So, Mr. Solicitor, do we have to make a motion to add the third?
Is there any action item associated?
There's no action item.
No, it's just a presentation.
Okay, so we're at the beginning of the year here, and what we do is review last year's work that our fire department and police department has done. They are prepared to present this morning. Unfortunately, we forgot to put fire under the presentations, so because we forgot, we're going to make him go first. So Commissioner J.P. Shirley will run through some stats. Unfortunately, our projector isn't set up, so pay close attention to what he's saying, but you don't have to pay real close attention because what he's presenting today will be on our website tomorrow. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and Council, residents and guests of the City of Chester. Thanks for having me. Fire Department, we're always prepared, so it doesn't matter if we were on the agenda or not. That being said, 2023 was a very busy year for us. We had close to 3,000 calls for service in the city. Of those 3,000 calls, 67 were building fires, so a little bit more than 1 building fire a week that we had here in the city. And of those 67, 11 of them were extra alarms. We actually had to bring in fire departments from surrounding municipalities to help us extinguish those fires. Fortunately, though, we had no fire deaths in the city. In addition, the highlight of those almost 3,000 calls for service in the city, we had 67 vehicle fires, 83 trash or brush fires. 339 times we went out and assisted EMS with either people needing help being lifted up or cardiac arrests, or even just forcing entry into the homes so that the EMS personnel could make access to the patient. There were 291 motor vehicle accidents. Of those 291, 284 had injuries. 287 hazmat calls. That might sound scary, but hazardous materials calls also include things like gas leaking inside of someone's home, or a little bit of gasoline on the ground. We assisted the police department 69 times, and we also had 1,015 fire alarm activations. So that's just kind of the highlights of 2023. Some things that occurred in 2023, we had a cadet class of 10 firefighters that had attended the Wilmington Fire Academy. They graduated and were sworn in January of 2023, 2023. And then we also put 3 additional firefighters into the Philadelphia Fire Academy. They graduated and were sworn in December. We have right now a little over 60 firefighters, but we're a very young department. About 40 of those firefighters, about 2/3, have 10 years on the job or less. That being said, we got a lot of great skill, a lot of great talent. The one thing we are missing a little bit is experience. And to kind of make up for that experience, we've been conducting training through the National Fire Academy. We've conducted a preparation and decision-making for company operations. We're going to be finishing out the beginning of this year with a strategy and tactics class, along with other fire behavior training. So we focused a lot in 2023 on training. We also received a grant through FEMA, an Assistance to Firefighter grant. That will be used to purchase bailout equipment. It's basically a harness and some rope that is specially made that if a firefighter is trapped on the 2nd or 3rd floor of a fire building and there's no ladder there, they can actually jump out the window if they need to and get themselves safely to the ground. We ordered 2 new apparatus, an engine apparatus and a ladder apparatus. Our fleet is some of our fleet is aging. We do have a somewhat newer fleet, but we've ordered those 2 trucks just due to demand and supply chain issues. They will not be delivered until the beginning of 25 and also the beginning of 26. But they're going to be replacing some apparatus at that point, will be close to 20 years old and at the end of its service life. We've also purchased some equipment. The leading cause of firefighter deaths is cancer. The carcinogens from fires that gets onto our equipment cross-contaminates, and a lot of firefighters were, I think, 7 times more likely to come down with cancer than the general population. So that being said, equipment-wise, we've now outfitted every firefighter with 2 sets of protective clothing, the protective hoods, gloves, so this way when one becomes contaminated, They can take it back to the station right away, wash it. We also did receive a grant. We have brand new state-of-the-art washers and dryers for the personal protective equipment, and they're able to put clean equipment on to reduce the cancer risk. And as Mayor Root stated, we're also upgrading the stations. When the stations were originally built, there were not that many females in the fire force. There was none in the city of Chester, and those stations are being upgraded to make sure that the facilities are, both for male and females, that they have their own showers, locker rooms, a little bit more better privacy with sleeping quarters. Other than that, that is about 2023 for the City of Chester Fire Department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Shirley. For those persons who may not have, a lot of experience, or they need more training, if you will, how does a firefighter go about being selected for training? Is it something that they can just apply for? What are the requirements?
That's a very good question, Councilwoman. So we are contracted with Bucks County Community College, the Department of Public Safety. They're actually a worldwide, well, they go across the world. They have a contract with DOD. They deliver fire training all over the world. Very top-notch organization. I'm not just saying that because I work part-time for them, but no, we have a contract with them to deliver. It's called a silver package. They're required to deliver a set amount of training hours that we do that on duty. Per each platoon, and those training packages are basically selected by the chiefs of the department. This year, we're actually going to be setting up within the next week or so what training programs we want to deliver, and that's through the course catalog. That's delivered on duty to every firefighter. In addition to that, this package also allows firefighters to apply for any type of what we call resident programs that they put on at the college, and a lot of that, due to COVID-19, has been moved to a virtual platform. So they're basically resident certification courses, and the certifications are through, we call it Pro Board. It's a nationwide organization that recognizes training agencies, and they basically certify that the training that is being delivered meets the NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, standards for certain certification levels, like firefighter, like officer. A lot of training is delivered when they go through the academies, a lot of that national training, but the continuing education of our firefighters, it can be done, is being done both on duty as well as they have the ability to take it off duty if they want to, learn some extra things, and that's available to every member of the department.
So if a chief does not make a selection and somebody really wants to go for the training, they can get training outside of whatever you offer?
Yes. So if a firefighter comes and says, hey, I want to learn how to be an airport firefighter, we can send them to that class if they want to go. And that's, we do not, we do not say like, oh, you can't go to that class. Anyone who applies for any class on their own, it's approved. The training programs that we provide in-house, we have to select just because we have to let the college know what instructors to send down to teach what classes we want them to put on.
I have a special interest in that because some firefighters that are hired here come from volunteer fire stations. And so quite naturally, they have more experience than the ones who were hired, say, from within the city. So I just want to make sure that, we are offering that an opportunity to the people who may not have as much experience coming in, but that they be elevated at some point so everybody can be on equal footing.
Oh, no, it's a very great point. Everyone is afforded the same opportunity training-wise. One of the things we're looking at doing, I'm actually going to be sending some people up to Philadelphia. They're doing an officer development course, and I want to bring that back here to start developing the future leaders of the department. And it's my responsibility to make sure that everyone in the organization gets the training that they need to move the organization forward. But I would say that, yes, there are some people who come in from volunteer fire departments that have training that, obviously people who weren't volunteers don't have, but everyone's afforded the training opportunities. So,
Okay.
all right.
I'll be watching that.
Oh, so I'll say I could send you to class too if you like. I already gave you some emergency management classes, but
I love going to class.
all right. Well, so,
Don't go anywhere,
all right, cool.
because he talks fast, doesn't he? Say yes, he talks fast. He talks fast to me. He rattled off a lot of stats, and I just want to kind of highlight a couple. Like as a kid, you see the fire truck go past your house, go through the neighborhood, and you just assume they're going to go fight a fire. I think what he made quite clear today, well, maybe not quite clear, what I want to emphasize is that we're not fighting a lot of fires here in this town. He said there were 67 building fires in 2023, 67. There were just as many car fires. So that's about what, 130, 140 times they put water on something. So it begs to the question, like, well, what the heck do you do? Well, what they do is assist EMS, emergency medical, quite a bit. They handle hazmat, hazardous material type situations quite a bit. The fire, I even struggle to say firefighter, but the firefighter of old is not the firefighter of today. They need a set of different skills, and it speaks to your point, Council Lady West, that the training is not about pulling out a hose, hooking up to a hydrant, and putting out a fire. I think you said it best yesterday. They're not so much firefighters as they are, what was the term?
So they're really not fire departments anymore. We're an all hazards department.
All hazards department.
And if it's not a police issue, the fire department is there. And to Mayor Roots' point, there's technical rescue, high angle, confined space. There's swift water rescue. In conjunction with the police department, we have a dive rescue team. Hazardous materials, emergency medical care. The firefighter of New is a very knowledgeable and skilled person, and we deal with a lot. Basically, anytime someone calls 911, if it's not a police issue, the fire department is dealing with it, and we need to be knowledgeable to deal with that.
So just to emphasize one more time, he says they took 3,000 calls last year, but only put out about 150 fires. So that just speaks to that point. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mayor. Council.
So we've heard from fire. Now it's time to hear from police. Commissioner Gretzky, you've got the mic. And again, the presentation that we're being handed will be online very soon, maybe as early as tomorrow, so that when he rattles off his stats, which are a lot as well, we don't have the benefit of the projector today, but the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Members of council, good morning. Members of the city, good morning. When I read these numbers to you, I just want you to just listen to this. It's no secret. We do more with less, and our police department's going to be hiring soon again. We're going to be testing. The information's out. It's up here. I see two other retired police officers, Regina, Merlin, two individuals also who know what it takes to do this job. So I'm going to start off. What I did with my report, I broke 5 years of data down to show you the improvements, what we had from this police department. So for reported incidents in 2023, the police department handled 35,903 calls for service. Okay? Now, when I backtrack to 2018, 50,822 calls. 2019, 62,134 calls. From 2019 to 2023, that's a 53.5% difference and less calls. So we are making a difference in this community. If you don't know what an incident is call for service, 911, a witness, a special detail, anything that generates a case number. So for instance, with 2024, the first call for service would be 2024-0001. But for how we ended the year was 35,903. Major.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. I've been tasked to tell you about the reported incidents just for last year. We started off the year with our total incidents for January, 2,974. February was 2,657. March, 3,075. April, 3,067. And as we go up into the warmer summer months, our call volume goes up tremendously. For the month of May, we're 3,058. June, 3,215. July, 3,141. August, 3,238. September, 3,082. October, 3,199. November, 2,698. And December, 2,499. And again, when these call volumes are going up, we're still working with the minimum manpower that we have. So like the commissioner spoke on, we're getting it done with less, but we can really get a lot more done with more.
Thank you, Major. So as we flip to the next page, from the FBI Uniform Crime Report, we break down Part 1 crimes. These are some of the most serious crimes that police officers deal with. And our categories: arson, assault, burglary, homicide, robbery, sexual assault, theft by non-motor vehicle, theft by motor vehicle. When 2020 was one of our most trying times here, at least for myself, in the city of Chester, we had a total of 34 homicides. We solved a total of 19 of them homicides. But as you see, 2021, 21 homicides, 12 solved. 2022, 19 homicides, 17 solved out of the 19. 2023, 13 with 7 solved. This report is going to be released. A lot of this is hard work and information from members in the community. I'm not going to call out no one's names here, but you know who you are. I appreciate the phone calls, and we are going to continue going to build. And one of the reasons with reading this, I asked District Attorney Stoltheimer to be here and to say a few words, because I strongly believe in partnership, and for what you've done for this city has been a blessing, sir. So I'd ask you to come here and say a few words.
Thank you. What Chester Police, with the community support and with city government support, has been able to do over the last 4 years is simply breathtaking. As you know, we track the numbers of gun violence because all of those homicides are terrible and tragic for everyone involved. But we're particularly focused in the district attorney's office in making sure we stop the gun violence. Over the last 4 years, the number of gun incidents, shootings in the city of Chester have fallen by 72%, and the number of gun homicides by 68%. That is because of the incredible work of the Chester Police Department. That's Group 1. You've heard about how they're doing more with less. It's really the leadership and the motivation of all of those officers to protect your community. But they're also doing it in partnership with the community, and that's what's so exciting about what we've been able to do here together in the city of Chester. And if I want to call out one person, it's the MVP here, Corey Long. You all know Corey and the work he's done in the community in partnership with the DA's office, the police, and everybody in the community. If we keep this up, Corey's group is called Making a Change Group. We might have to amend that to Made a Change Group because you're doing fabulous work. Everyone in the community working with law enforcement. This is a community policing strategy that's paying off for everyone here. But it only is working because of the people who sit here. You have supported them, both financially with the dollars that they need and to be able to put more officers on the street, but also just being in the community and making sure that everybody knows that in the city of Chester, the way we do things is everybody working together. A collaborative effort, community, police together. We are here to serve you. I am certainly here to serve you as district attorney, and I want to thank you all, and thank you, Commissioner, for the incredible work you do. I'm Ukrainian. My mother came to this country as a 15-year-old Ukrainian refugee and landed here in the city of Chester. It's the first place she ever lives as a free person. It kills me that I say a Polish guy is your police commissioner. I think he's really Ukrainian. We're all sort of the same. But, Stephen, you do a fabulous job, and thank you for your leadership in particular.
I appreciate that. So going back to the reported incidents for 2023, I want to give you a breakdown. Homicides, 13. Involving a firearm, 10. Blunt force trauma, 1. Accident-related, 2. Burglary, 112. Forcible entries, 73. unlawful entries, 22, attempted, 17, vehicle thefts, 201, automotive, 156, trucks/buses, 12, other, 33, assaults, 319, involving firearm, 52, involving a knife, 29, hand, fist, feet, 164, and then simple assault, 175. Robbery, including a firearm, 35, including a knife, 3, other weapons, 3. Firearm-related offenses, arrest involving illegal possession, 143, arrest involving firearm use, 6, total firearms recovered, 275 illegal firearms. Illegal carrying arrest, 143, shots fired with recovered evidence, 86, non-fatal shootings, 25. Major.
And now with the overall arrests and U.S. Marshals Task Force. A grand total of 1,667 individuals were arrested by the Chester Police Department. Outside of this, 26 were arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol or controlled substance. A total of 346 fugitive arrests were made by the Chester police officers and the unit that works with the U.S. Marshals Task Force. An additional 37 fugitive arrests were made by uniformed personnel based on information developed by this team, as well as 170 arrests based on information obtained by surrounding states and provided to this officer and his team. This unit has provided information on wanted subjects from the area to surrounding states, leading to 337 arrests of the individuals who attempted to turn fugitive.
This will be my last part of the presentation. This has to do with our narcotics division. For the work and the manpower that have a narcotics division, these numbers are outstanding. I had to pull some of the officers to backfill patrol, move some things around. At one point, I had one captain, but he has resources with the county task force. So recovered drugs, cocaine powder, 14 pounds, crack cocaine, 1.6 pounds, marijuana, 21.6 pounds, fentanyl, heroin, 0.8 of a pound, methamphetamines, 0.57 pounds, ecstasy, 81 pounds, PCP, 4.4 pounds. Category from this narcotics division, they locked up a total of 85 individuals. For their part of the firearms, they received 94 firearms, $138,254 in U.S. currency was seized, 11 vehicles, total of the vehicles at $88,000. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere.
Gotcha.
Any questions for our commissioner, council?
Job well done.
Very well done.
All right, I just want a couple points. How many are on the force currently?
Currently, right now, we have 71 officers, currently right now up to date.
All right, so you hear that, 71 officers. We just heard from the fire commissioner who has 60 folks on his staff. Fire handled roughly 3,000 calls last year, police 35,000. So when they say they're doing more with less, that's what they mean. I mean, if I were to do stupid math, if police are getting, how many more times is 3,000 to 35,000? About 10 times, thanks. Didn't want to break out my phone. So would you expect to see 700 people on the force to handle that? Of course, that isn't going to happen. But it's just amazing the job that you guys do with the force that you have.
Thank you.
The second point I want to bring up is that we're faced, mayor and council, particularly when we're trying to promote our town, the question always comes up regarding the perception of Chester as being dangerous. And we've seen over and over and over again how the statistics of violent crime, particularly gun-related crimes and homicide, has gone down quite a bit in the last 5 years, thanks to the partnership between our district attorney, mayor, council, police department. But he gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other categories of crime that have statistics as well. And these are some of the areas we need to pay attention to, first of all, in terms of what the numbers are. When I look at assault, and I'm looking at 319 offenses of assault, that's a bit much. Burglaries, 112, I'm just looking at 2023. Theft, non-motor vehicle, 465. These are the things that we have to pay attention to as well. And a lot of this is not police work, it's neighborhood work. It's people in the communities watching out for each other. It's getting these block captains to not only sweep their streets, but to do town watches. It's neighborhoods coming together and maybe collectively getting their Ring cameras and Facebook groups and just people on the lookout. Many times, if they're going to kick in your back door, they're coming for the neighbor's back door next. We just have to learn to communicate with each other. One of my objectives, through this administration is to re-engage neighborhood citizens to help us protect our own neighborhoods. So I hope you guys are going to join us in that effort. When I talk about block captains, I often hear, well, I'm already a block captain, and that's great. We want you to step up and identify yourself, but I'm telling you, as of right now, we don't have anything for you to plug into here in city government. We want to create that from right in the neighborhoods all the way up to the police department. So let's start paying attention and start recognizing some of the real trouble spots that we have in our area when it comes to crime. Assaults, it's uncalled for. What were some of the assaults as you broke them down? Involving firearms, involving a knife. But the one that really strikes me is hand, fist, and feet. Folks are just scrapping out here on the streets. Like people are, angry, and we have to understand and help control how we manage our own personal conflicts. And simple assault. I think that could be as simple as shoving somebody in the back or tripping somebody as they walk across the street. Some of it is silly, most of it's uncalled for. We have to start paying attention to those type of things because together, when we talk about homicides, we've had the help. Now we need your help to bring all the stats down so that when we, mayor and council, go out and talk to other communities, other businesses that are looking to come down here, we can show that all these statistics are trending down. Can I get your support in that? All right, thanks.
And one more thing, I just want to inform the community. The body cameras are here. The policy's done. We actually start body camera training tomorrow, which will go on for a few weeks, but body cameras will be in place this year. Thank you.
And forgive me, Major Blackwell, I didn't know you were going to be part of the presentation.
That's fine. Neither did I.
Oh, okay. So I don't feel as bad. We have a presentation. Just an announcement? Okay. Ms. Rosetta Carter, representing Chester's Bureau of Health.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
As well as all the citizens of Chester and other areas. My name is Rosetta Carter. I am the Director of Community Health Education. And again, one of my key functions is to make sure people in Chester are healthy. So I just want to make an announcement. Can you hear me all right?
Now,
Okay.
yes.
I just want to make an announcement today that we are providing COVID-19 vaccine shots, as well as the latest booster, the RSV, as well as flu shots. Now, you know we are in the peak season of the flu season. So again, in order to stay healthy, you need to get your flu shots. And many times people are coming, they're coughing, they're sneezing. I would encourage you just to continue to just, cover your mouth or as well as your nose when you're sneezing and you're coughing, as well as if you're sick, you need to stay home because, again, what happens is that you put your other colleagues as well as loved ones at risk because you don't know whether or not you have COVID, you don't know whether or not you just have the flu. But again, I just wanted to let you know we are having a clinic today. This is the second one. The first one we had to cancel because of the weather 2 weeks ago on the 10th. So I'm going to encourage you to come downstairs. It's from 11 to 2 p.m. in a community room, and you can get your shot right there. And also, I'd like to let Mayor and Council know that we're taking our clinic on the road for the next 2 weeks. So we will be going to areas like the senior citizen sites and other areas where people maybe can't get out, or maybe they didn't have an opportunity to get to the doctor or can't get to the doctor. So along with the pharmacists, Woodland Pharmacy, they are going to be traveling with us to make sure that they are safe as well. And also, I'd just like to say we're able to do this because of the Black Equity Coalition. We were able to get a grant for them, and so we're able to go around the city as well to do clinics here. So thank you very much for your patience, and you have a great day.
Ms. Carter, when you're coming out for these shots, do you need your card? A lot of us have our cards, a record of our shots and what have you.
Yeah, on the flyer it says that you need to bring your vaccine card,
Okay.
as well as your insurance or Medicare card. Of
Okay.
course, as you recall, last year, the government, and a year before when we was in a pandemic, they were making the shots free. But now your insurance company is responsible for that cost. So please, make sure you bring that. But if you don't bring it, we also have a way the pharmacist can tap into Pennsylvania Health Department and get that information for you as well as to make sure you get a new card. That's important, okay?
I just wanted you to say it because
Okay.
in case everybody doesn't have a flyer.
Sure, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Carter, question, if someone doesn't have insurance, are they still able to get a shot?
Yeah, the pharmacist will work with that person or persons, okay, to make sure they get a shot. Okay, and also I didn't mention that if you want to obtain the home COVID kit, you can also go on the CDC website. They provide like each family 4 kits. So again, they are free. And I have tried, I went on just to see how quickly you can receive those kits. Is once you call or go on the website, you can receive those kits like in about 3 days. And I think that's pretty good. So again, if you wish to contact me, you can contact me at, of course, the main number, extension 7955, and I will be able to help you to navigate the system so that you can actually obtain the test kits. Because in the city of Chester, we no longer have the primary doctors as we used to. So again, what's happening is that people sometimes are not going to the doctor. So we just want to make it easier for them. And thank you very much, and you'll have a blessed day.
Ms. Carter, I would really like to thank you for all your hard work and dedication to the residents of the city of Chester.
Thank you.
The service that you provide, the citizens, are very necessary.
Yes.
And without them, some of them may have gone without the services. And so I do appreciate what you have done as far as making sure that our residents are taken care of in that matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
So I'd like to add that COVID is real. It's going to be with us for the foreseeable future. It's cold season. That's what we used to call this, cold and flu season. We have to add, it's cold, flu, and COVID season. It's great that we could make accommodations here at City Hall on occasion for your flu shot, was it RSV and all the acronyms, COVID, but obviously we're not a health clinic. So for those of you who are fortunate enough to have health insurance, please, please, please take advantage of it. Go to your doctors, go to your clinics, go to your pharmacies. Chester doesn't have a pharmacy anymore except for the one at the Edgemont building, I think, on Edgemont Avenue. It's a small family-sized.
It's one on Booth Street. There's a pharmacy, Chester Discount Pharmacy.
Speaking to the mic.
There is a pharmacy located on Booth Street, 9th and Booth, Chester Discount Pharmacy.
Okay, so we have two. But the big box ones are gone, right? The Rite Aids, and all those guys are gone. So I'm just encouraging you to, take it seriously every season. Get your flu shot and keep up with the COVID-19 shots. Where are we?
Old business.
Old business, new business. Old business, new business is a new addition to our agenda. It's kind of sparked from Councilman Will Morgan. When Will Morgan, as deputy mayor, would take over this microphone, he was always concerned that when we, mayor and council, had an opportunity to give comments at the end of the meeting, sometimes the meetings went so long that people tuned out. And we had important stuff to say, and the room had emptied, or those of you who are viewing are gone. So what we've done is inserted in this portion of our agenda an opportunity for mayor and council to share any old business or new business that we want you guys to hear. Then we'll have our public comments, and then we'll reserve time if there's public comments that we need to respond to, or even something we forgot at the end. So we're ushering in, for the first time ever, a section on old business. So I'm going to allow you, council persons, let's start with.
I'll reserve my comments for the comment at the end.
She'll reserve her comment till the end. Councilman Green, Council Lady Gibson. I'm sorry.
I don't have anything.
Council. Any old business you want to share?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Now, one of you have to mention the executive session, because you can't have an executive session without
So
sharing.
we did meet in executive session last week to go over.
I wasn't there.
Okay.
Employee
You
manual.
do have to identify the subject, but you don't have to go into detail, so you can say that the executive session was related to, I don't know, I wasn't present, so I don't know, but personnel matters or.
Last week I called an executive session so that way we can talk about some of the ARPA projects and bringing in an engineering firm to handle some of the projects, or to not bring an engineering firm into and continue to work with our current engineer and some other legal matters. And I'm also going to ask that we have a quick executive session after this meeting.
Okay, I guess just, you would put whatever the subject is of that as well.
The subject would be the zoning board appointment, as well as the appointment to the MFRAC committee, and I have it written down on my other desk, on my desktop.
Any other old business? All right. Well, regarding executive session, I'd really appreciate if we have executive sessions that the chief executive is included as well. That would be myself. And the fact that we talked about engineers, and I'm an engineer, just seems to be more of a reason why I should have been in that meeting, or the meeting would have been scheduled at a time when I was available. Any new business?
Duly noted.
Any new business? Anything going on in your departments that you want to share with the public? Go ahead.
So good morning, everyone. Just to touch base off of what Councilman Green mentioned about the ARPA funds, me being the newly appointed council member and the director of accounts and finance, I feel as though it's important for the city and the community to know where the money is going. as far as how it's being appropriated, when it needs to be appropriated by. The word project can be sometimes scary to people because with the connotation that is also, tied to, big work. But sometimes a project can be something simple as, fixing a sidewalk or installing more disability ramps. So I think that's a conversation that during executive sessions as mayor and council, we should be making it some more information via website or during council meetings on where the money is going and how it's being appropriated.
And I'm only 22 days on the job, but we've been working diligently with my department, my Parks and Recreation Manager, Stephanie Hall. And I've also met with the engineers. I met with a number of people here, and we're going to do some park improvements. There's some ARPA money that has been allocated so that way we can improve some bathrooms over at Chester Park, over at Memorial Park, and also Sun Village that has had a hole in the roof for a number of years. And so we are finally going to get that done. We're going to work on some grants and hopefully whatever is left in ARPA to fix up the Upland Street Recreation Center. That's the recreation center that I used to play at as a little boy, and we've done a lot of things there at a young age, and I want to give other kids that opportunity too. But that building need a lot of tender loving care. And so I'll be working with mayor and council and our chief and our parks manager so that way we can put a number of projects on the books and really bring some more recreation to the city and really build up our recreation centers that we currently have. Also met with the Boys and Girls Club yesterday, doing some projects with them. So we are working. I'll have some more updates. I'll do my first 100 days, I'll lay out what we've done and what we plan to do at a community meeting to lay out my first 100 days. I'll be planning that. So you'll hear soon about what we're doing in the Parks, Recreation, and Public Property. And we're also improving a number of our public properties. So, and bringing on a number of employees. We're gonna hire a program recreation manager that will bring and create new recreation programs for the city. We're also going to hire a fleet manager that will handle all of the fleet that the city owns. So the parks, under Parks, Recreation, and Public Property deals with all of the public property that the city owns. And so that's under my department. And so we're going to take a look this Friday at 10 a.m. I am doing a tour with all of my staff, and we're going to tour the city. And so that way we can see exactly everything that the city owns, what conditions they're in, and how we can improve them. And I'm also working with the receiver. I have a weekly meeting with the receiver now, and so that way we can make sure we're working hand in hand and doing whatever we can to get the city out of receivership and out of bankruptcy. And I see the receivers here too, so I'll acknowledge you, receiver. My job is to help him work himself out of a job. I like you, but we don't want you here forever. And so the job is that we work together, mayor and council, work with the receiver to get this city out of receivership and out of bankruptcy. And so I'm meeting with the receiver every week and the rest of the department so that way we can do what we can to keep this city moving forward. So, and I'll just ask for your patience and your support as we're in this transition period of making Chester better. Thank you.
I'd like to commend the L&I department for all of the work that they've been doing since I became councilwoman. When I first came in here, it looked a mess. It looked like, oh my God, what are we going to do? The one thing I could appreciate from Ms. Judy was that she has meetings with the team every day for about 15, 20 minutes, and everyone knows what their responsibilities are. But the one thing that I liked the most from the meeting that we had this morning was that accountability to the landlords, because our tenants deserve better. There are so many properties that are unkept, and we don't even know who they are. But the L&I team, they're coming together. The inspectors are going out and doing the job that needs to be done, and they're doing it in a timely fashion, and I can appreciate that, and I'm sure the residents will too. I will stay on top of that to make sure everything is done decently and in order, and I just thank you for your cooperation through this process.
All right, so from the executive perch of things, one of the things we absolutely need to do as a body is to understand how to operate through our city charter. It's one of the most ambiguous, confusing pieces of documents out there. What is the city charter? The city charter is the equivalent of the Constitution of the United States. It really dictates, how we operate, and there's just a lot of confusing stuff that is really ambiguous. It can go one way or another. For instance, for those of you who paid attention to the reorganization meeting, you saw where, I as mayor was making an appointment, but the charter clearly says that council can also make appointments. It's the equivalent of me going home and saying, Marcy, that's my wife, I want fried chicken tonight. And she says, no, I want roast beef. And there's nothing in the charter that does that coin flip. Like, who really has the authority there? So we might be eating roast beef and chicken on evenings like that. Stuff like that has to be corrected. One of the most major things that occurred during that time, taking advantage of the ambiguity of the charter, is council appointing themselves to directors of departments. They didn't do it quite right, and I think it's quite clear to at least the solicitor that it should have been done by ordinance and not by motion, but it happened, it occurred, we're moving on. I'm still confused why I wasn't appointed to a department, because I'm as much a council person by virtue of the fact that I'm sitting here. I got the same vote that these guys do. So I'm not sure right now if I'm directing the police department in public affairs or not. So those are some of the things, some of the knots we have to clean up. So I guess in executive session real soon, when the solicitor gets back, we'll be sitting down and hashing out a lot of those issues. New business.
Mayor, you are automatically the director and council person for community affairs. That's automatic with you.
But I don't see the word automatic in the charter. That's sort of my point.
Okay, well, we'll have to have our solicitor look into that, But in in the charter, it says that we can do it by ordinance, appoint ourselves by ordinance. But then in the administrative code, it says that council can appoint, any member of council can make the appointment of themselves as directors of their departments. So that's how we were able to do it. But if we want to have further discussion with our attorney, solicitor, then we'll have to do so.
You're absolutely making my point.
Okay. But you said you were not appointed. You were automatically.
No, making the point that in the administrative code says one thing, the charter says another. There's a lot of ambiguity here.
Well,
so if I can appoint someone, why doesn't that rule? You saying you can appoint people as council people? Why did that rule? It doesn't have the flip of a coin. Let's just leave it at that.
Would you like to be appointed today? Would you like for us to make a motion?
I'm not asking. She says I'm already there. So let's not do anything silly here. Let's sit down and hash this thing out.
We can make it official. I can make a motion that we appoint you.
What you can't make official is making the charter, the administrative code, and the third-class city code understandable for all. You can keep changing things and making things convenient. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get all of us into a situation where there's a rule book that we can follow that is clear. I am not saying anybody. You've assigned yourself as department heads.
And it was
as
clear
the exec.
that we could do it.
But it's clear also that it should be done by ordinance. I could make that case.
Okay.
You made the case that somewhere else you could do it by motion. That's my whole point. It's confusing, and we want to limit the confusion, okay? It's time for public comment. Now, public comment, if you weren't here at the organization meeting, is going to be a lot different this year moving forward. Public comment is public comment. Public comment is not question and answer. We will not be answering any questions up here. You will have 3 minutes, thank you, to make a public comment. However, I understand why you come up here and ask questions. Up to now, there hasn't been a lot of opportunity for residents like yourself to engage face-to-face with mayor and council. And that has to change. We have to have opportunities for you guys to come in and not have a limit of 3 minutes and not have to see us in suit and ties and just speak your mind, get your questions answered. To that point today and moving forward, we have required every department head to be present at these council meetings. So if you do say, I really have a question that relates to L&I, parks, streets, there's a person sitting here that will be able to answer your question, okay? I have instituted office hours. Started last night from 4 to 7. I had people come in for people who wanted to address me. 2 of the 3 people who were on the schedule actually came out and kept me here till 6:30 last night. But that's good. That's the type of, engagement that I'm having with the public. So if you want to talk to me, if you want to see me, there will be published, scheduled office hours for you to come in and see me, and you can do that through my there he is, Administrative Assistant Justin Tibbles. So let's get started. Catherine Flagg. Do I have to be the timer again this week? You got it. Thank you so much.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Good morning, Mayor, City Council,
Morning.
fellow citizens of Chester. I did have a question, but I will make the statement. I understand why you were inaugurated prior to the inauguration day. I understand the other mayors did it as well. But I came to the inauguration to see you being inaugurated, to see you take an oath to serve the city of Chester, an oath before God, to serve the city of Chester to the best of your ability with our consideration in place. And I wondered if you would consider doing that. I would like to see you stand, put your hand on the Bible and take an oath and say that you're going to serve us under the help of God and our help, if you could do that. Second, you made a statement that you wanted to clean up City Hall. I'm just wondering what you meant by that and how you were planning to do it. And I also say thank you to the Chief of Police and the Fire Department for all the work that you've done to help to change this crime in the city. And this was a good council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
No answer.
You can have a seat. I will respond to those comments. Taking an oath in public, that's a strong point. I respect that. It was awkward having that day between December 31st and January 2nd when we had the public reorganization meeting. I think many of you have heard, and if you didn't, the reason that I did it on January 1st so that there would be no gap in leadership here in the city. It was a private, non-public ceremony, if you want to call it that. And I honestly had considered also showing up on January 2nd just to have a do-over, although it was officially done on the 1st, to be up here with the mayor and council just to have that show. Hearing your comments, I wish I had heard it before. That would have been the right thing to do. Right, I understand. And there were some people who showed up just like you to see that happen. So that was a bad decision on my part. But I'm not going to say it was a bad decision to get sworn in on the 1st. I'm going to stick with that. But I went back and forth on whether to do it again on the 2nd. I chose not to, and I probably should have. So I do respect that. Cleaning up City Hall, basically, it's not so, well, it is sort of cleaning up City Hall. The Public Works guys are kind of mad, and I'm going to talk to you about this a little bit. They're kind of mad at us because they kind of rotate people in here to do the work of physically cleaning up, like the custodial duties. And the crew that we have now is doing a really good job. So cleaning up the physical space itself is really important. I would love to see the rug shampooed. I would love to see the chairs, spruced up. I had my office painted. So I don't know when the last time the outside windows have been done. So cleanup is real. Cleanup is cleanup. But more so what I'm talking about is just putting people in place to get the jobs done that we need to get done. So we've been doing some work in reassigning people to other positions, consolidating people to do more jobs than one, and hiring people that can fill some gaps for us. So that's what we mean by fixing City Hall. We want to get it to a place where the constituents are better served, and that's only going to work if we're better equipped to serve you better here through City Hall. Great comments.
Now you answer her question. Everybody going to think you're going to answer theirs. I mean, you answer one question, now everybody going to want their questions answered.
Saifuddin. Councilman.
Got my timer here too. My name is Saifuddin M.A. Simpson. I live at 1030 Potter Street, Chester, Pennsylvania. And basically today what I'm here to discuss is ban the box. Apparently we have a lot of people at City Hall that lost their jobs, and we have a lot of people that want to get a job. But as we know that Chester is basically a second chance city, we have a lot of people that have been previously incarcerated or previously arrested. And it may have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but often it is held against them today. I noticed today we have like numerous job postings down there, and I'm wondering why those jobs haven't been filled. But in 2007, I approached Mayor Butler about whether the city of Chester was abiding by the Title VII laws that deal with employment discrimination. As a lot of people know, I had a situation with Harrah's Casino where I wasn't hired because of a criminal background, and I wasn't interviewed. As a result of that, it made the newspaper. So right now, I just want to bring it to council's attention that presently there's 37 states, 150 counties or cities that presently have ban-the-box laws. And basically, the ban-the-box laws apply to not only government, but also private employers. So I want to read a little bit off of the poster that businesses in Philadelphia are required to keep in their place of establishment. Ensuring people with criminal records have a fair chance to work. It is illegal in Philadelphia for employers to ask about your criminal background during the job application progress. This means that employers cannot ask you about your criminal background on job applications or during any job interview. Employers can run your background check only after a conditional offer of employment is made. Final hiring depends on the results of your background check. Criminal convictions can be considered only if they occurred less than 7 years from when you apply, not counting time of incarceration. Arrests that did not lead to conviction cannot be used in employment decisions. If your background check reveals a conviction, the employer must consider the type of offense and the time that has passed since it occurred, its connection to the job you're applying for, and your job history, character references, and evidence of rehabilitation. Employers can reject you based on your criminal record only if you pose an unacceptable risk to the business or other people. If you are rejected, the employer must send the decision to you in writing with a copy of the background report used to make the decision. You have 10 days to give an explanation of your record, proof that it is wrong, or proof that of rehabilitation. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention so the city doesn't get sued if somebody gets turned down improperly for having a criminal background. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Olivia Smith.
Drop my mask so you can hear me. Good morning.
Morning.
I see that we have a revision in our agenda. Every board, every municipality, commissions and so forth, always approve a finance report. So I see that there is no finance report on this agenda, and I don't know how you can pay your bills without letting all of council at least approve that report. Secondly, I hear you talking about ARPA. I do have a copy of the ARPA funding in the category. So if you're going to make some changes, it seems like all the money has been accounted for in line items. I heard Councilman Green mention about Sun Village roof. I don't see that in here, so I'm assuming that there will be some revisions in the structure of the ARPA funds as far as to make sure that you can take care of those other needs that needs to be done. Excuse me. Also, I see in your job descriptions, I see some, I don't know why it's done, but anyway, it has Director of Planning and Zoning reports to the Chief of Staff, but then you have an Animal Control reports to Judy Richards. Why is it that some of us reports to a title and others report to a particular name? You're talking about contacting people. I looked on your website and your contact. I know you're in the process. Y'all can update that website, but it doesn't have anything. It doesn't show any of the current administration as far as their phone numbers and so forth. So you might want to update that so people can contact you and they won't have to always bring it out to the council. And lastly, also, you have 2023 holiday schedule listed, and we're in 2024. You also had your organizational chart. And in the organizational chart, it says, it has the citizens of Chester trumps everybody else. So therefore, there's a question that needs to be asked. We just like your mother. We can trump you, and you have to answer our questions if we have one. Thank you. So any of those questions going to be answered that I asked?
Not right now.
Okay.
S.J. Dennis?
I'll answer that one question in reference to the ARPA and the parks. There is a line item for park improvements. I believe it's a $300,000 line item, but it doesn't have a particular park. And so it's going to be at the discretion of the Director of Parks Recreation to identify what park that will be. And so me and my team have been going through and identifying those parks. And that's why I mentioned Sun Village.
Okay, and it said playground improvement, and it don't seem like enough money to fix a roof. So I'm just saying y'all going to have to make some revisions to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe it's S.J. Dennis.
Good morning, Mayor, Council, and citizens of Chester. My question or my concern is the MFRAC meetings, and I'm so glad that the receiver is here. I have been trying to get on that. I am not a person who has the Facebook. And before, there was a link from the Chester Live that would take you directly to the meetings, even if you didn't have a Facebook account. So now I'm unable to get on to those meetings, and I'm just wondering, will there be something? Because when I look back in the archives only go back to August of last year, of course. And so I'm real interested in getting back onto those meetings. So if somebody can help by changing it, making it so that it'll be easier for us to be able to get on, because I know that I'm not the only one who doesn't have a Facebook account. Okay?
Bless you for that.
Thank you very much.
We'll make sure that the receiver is here. I'm sure he received that. Mr. John Shelton.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
Morning.
And everyone that's here. I'm thankful to be alive, to see assumed progress on its way and to thank you even before you do it, to making some things happen. And for the past, we have come past. The future is ahead of us. And it is in our hands on what we do with it. Myself, I'm not pleased with having a council meeting and you're not able to come to it and ask questions. Our most, using the correct term, defective area is lack of communication. We're still working on that. If we don't communicate, you can't do any of those things properly, directly, and on time either. So improving those areas. And this is not just for the older folk that have come through. This is for right now. That would help greatly. These new programs that some of them are not new, that's on here. We've lived through some of those for years. And we know them. When I say we, I mean the folk that's been here and have attended council meetings and supported the city, supported government, supported trying to make improvements. And that's going all the way back. No, already. And we know when you make a misstep, and we know when you're stepping right. We've got to work this thing together, because it's here. I would appreciate it. I can't speak for everybody else. If we get that right, and spread more love between you. You're not enemies because you're 7 people sitting up there. You're supposed to be friendly. And don't let political things set you apart from living, because we have to live together when we're here. I'd appreciate all of you looking at that and try to make it the way I am now and look at it. I appreciate that greatly. And to those new folk, congratulations. Welcome to the club that we've been members of for years. Thank you.
Is that Corey Long? It is Corey Long. Is that Corey Long?
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Good morning, residents of the City of Chester and community partners. Excuse me, I just wanted to commend Mayor and Council for your unifying efforts to compromise and show a unifying front here before Council at your second meeting. I realize that you all are only on the job 3 weeks in, and some of these issues are challenging, and they are nuclear. And it's going to take some work to work through them. I, for one, support, and I believe many of the community members support a unified front and support you all in your positions. I'm one that always believed in you praise in public and you criticize in private, especially when you have private relationships with many of you, and you can pull you aside and say, hey, I think you can do things better. Those of us that are a little more seasoned or experienced could have those private conversations with you in ways that can help empower your jobs, empower you to be better at your positions. That's one that I think is more fruitful. And you can always tell the health of a tree by the fruit that it bears. So if there's anything that I can do, is there anything that I'm sure several individuals here in this community can do to make you all successful, please don't hesitate to reach out, and good job at attempting to show a unified front. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dolores Shelton.
Take your time, you all right?
My name is Dolores Shelton. I live at 138 East 18th Street here in the city. And I've been here. Oh, all right, thank you. I've been here since I was 11 years old. All right. This is the first real council meeting of our new council and mayor. I just want to piggyback on Mr. Mayor being sworn at a public event. I understand a private event where you were very concerned about our safety for the 24 hours that we were without a mayor. But it's still, well, maybe it is, but I don't know. I think it's still not too late to lay your hand on that Holy Bible one more time. And I think it would be appreciated. Number two, I want you to just back up what our young lady said about city council. I've turned to Channel 5. I have Comcast, so it's Channel 5. And I haven't seen anything. I know I can't have C, but I can't seem to see anything, any information on Channel 5. And I want to know the receiver. I don't do Facebook. I am not going to do Facebook, and I don't like what's on Facebook, and they talk about people, and I don't think I, myself, would like to see it on Channel 5, or, something where you're not disgracing people and talk about people and talk about what this one did and that one did. I don't care what you did. I would like to see the receivers meeting, okay. And another thing, when is your meeting with council people? Do you publicly announce that meeting so we can be here? I just don't know. And then at this meeting, we're only to give comments and not really ask questions. And you'll start out with this meeting with questions and answers. So I'm a bit confused. So if it is question and answer, my question goes to L&I or license and whatever. I just have a question. If you have a fire on your block, and if they throw the mattresses and everything out the window down on the ground, how long, is there a time that stuff is supposed to be on the ground, or when someone moves out of a house and they pile up like that on the sidewalk, how long is it supposed to stay there like that? I think those are all the answers for L&I think. I don't know. But that's a comment with a question. I will take my seat, but I come to just about every council meeting, so I'll be back.
It's Regina Butcher.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Regina Butcher. I am with I Am My Sister's Keeper Chester. I'm a retired officer with the city of Chester and looking for ways to give back. And we have an organization that is currently at 3012 West 3rd Street in Christ of Life Church. And we service young ladies from 6 to 18 years of age, but now we have a bridge up to 24. We're here in the city of Chester, we have a curriculum-based program. We're here to help because a lot of our girls don't know and don't have the dynamics at home to help them bridge the gap as they travel in life. But I do have a pamphlet. I'm not going to do 2 minutes because everything's in the pamphlet, but I am here as anyone have questions for me to help. Like the city is moving forward. I thank and commend everyone for taking the time to even run to try to give the city a turn. I thank the police department and the fire department because they work tirelessly in our community to try to bridge the gap. And as a citizen, as a person that's born and raised here, it's my duty and responsibility to give back in any which way I can. So I'm here to help, we are here to help, and we're here to serve the citizens of Chester. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to say that I have had the opportunity of watching My Sister's Keeper and the young ladies that have come to the program. And, you know, I see a lot of programs with the young men, and they're doing a phenomenal job. But to have women come up and come forth and say, hey, we need something for the females is very, very important. And so I've watched those girls from start to finish almost, and some of them are in college now. Yes. And you guys have done a phenomenal job, and I will help in any way that I possibly can.
We do incentives. Actually, if you get good grades, there's an incentive for grades. We actually have programs like we were just at Blue Mountain. We take them exposure and expansion. It's not just here in the city of Chester. So there's a world out there. So we prepare, equip, we do leadership classes, we bring people in to speak. Actually, we have one of our Look, Nasir is actually volunteering. We're doing a thing called a men's perspective because as young ladies, they are not men. They don't think like men, but they can ask questions of qualified men within the community so they can help bridge the gap because everybody doesn't have a father or a mother at home. So the gentlemen talk about both perspectives. And we treat you how to be a young lady because everybody does not know how to be a young lady. So we come together and I share my life experiences. I share what I do, my background. I'm born and raised. I come from the city of Chester. And I think it's a good thing for us to give back and empower the next generation because we don't empower, they're going to explode. So we're here to help. And it's the first and third Saturday. So if they need something to do on a Saturday, we're here for Saturdays. We do workshops, artworks, training, leadership, skill building, entrepreneurship. And if any young lady has a dream or something that she would like to do, we're connected. Like you said, you're bridging a gap. We're here to help you bridge that gap through the community aspect. Because we cannot do it alone, but we can do it together. And we're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Collier. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Move your hat, Mr. Collier.
City residents. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay.
City residents. I live in the city of Chester, right off of 8th, between 8th and Barclay and 8th and Fulton. And I catch the SEPTA bus quite often. And a lot of times, like if I'm going to catch the 117, the Industrial Parkway bus, right, I have to cross the street on 9th and Barclay, right? And when I try to cross the street, I always wait before the light change. I always wait a couple seconds because you have people, you know, trying to get through the lights. So every time I cross the street, before I get in the middle of the street, the light changes. It only lasts 5 seconds. This has been happening for years, for several years. And I had talked to people in the streets department. They told me to talk to L&I, but nothing never has been done about it. And I'm almost got hit several times trying to cross that street. But the light on the opposite side, it's almost 2 minutes. I'm there every day. I see it. I time the lights. And something needs to be done about that. And on both sides, and even when I get off of the bus, the one that bring me back home, I still can't cross the street because the light changes in 5 seconds, and I can't get in the middle of the street. And something needs to be done about that. Thank you.
Mr. Collier, make sure we connect. I missed you yesterday. I've got something for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Collier, also, my Public Works Director, Mark Alexander, is right here in the first row. So he'll talk to you after the meeting.
All righty.
Okay, and we'll have someone come and check the timing on that light.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, we might have to go to, I think it's a state road, so we might have to go to PennDOT, right, Mr. Alexander? Okay.
Yeah, I'll call them all.
All right, that concludes public comment from the public. Now we're back here for council comments.
Okay, Mayor and Council, and to the community members, I just want to thank those of you who were kind during the snowstorm that we had last week. We had 2 systems that came in, and the last one was pretty significant. And as you know, it was about a 3-day, well, you don't know, but it was about a 3 or 4 day operation for us. And we had some people on Facebook. I don't really go on Facebook other than to say, happy birthday, happy anniversary, you have my sympathy or something like that. But the nonsense, I don't deal with that. And people were complaining about the streets not being plowed. We had a system that came in where it went from about maybe 6 o'clock in the morning to about 6 o'clock in the evening, and that was that Friday. So the men started in the Public Works Department, they started working around 4 a.m., and they worked all day until that evening. But as you know, the snow was consistently coming down, so you can go and plow and get as much as you can, but as soon as they did that, then more snow had come on top of what they had already cleared. So for those of you who were patient and kind and understanding, I thank you for that. And for those of you who were not so kind, and you, some of you were blasting the new mayor, and it wasn't his department, although he oversees, you know, the whole organization. But, you know, it wasn't his responsibility. It's streets and public improvement. So we were out there doing the best that we could, and your best interest is always in the forefront of our minds and keeping you safe and what have you. It was icy, and then it was a lot of snow. We had an operation where we started salting first, then we went back and plowed, and then we salted some more. So the guys were, and I want to thank everyone in the streets department, Mr. Sean Drawn, the supervisor, and your staff for all of your hard work and for all the hours that you put in getting, you know, conducting this snow operation. That's about it for right now for me. I just wanted to talk about that, you know. We do need your patience and your understanding. And that's it.
Council Lady Gibson?
I have no comments.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
I'll just speak real briefly. One of the comments or questions was in reference to the expenditure list and why it wasn't on the agenda or council wasn't voted. Well, to my knowledge, council hasn't been presented with an expenditure list thus far, and so therefore council wouldn't have been able to vote on it. And also, as far as it being removed from the agenda, I know I wasn't a part of that conversation. I'm not sure if any other member of council was a part of that conversation.
No.
Or who made the decision to remove it from the agenda, but that wasn't council's recommendation. And I sit on a number of boards, and have sat on a number of boards and currently still do, and we're always presented with an expenditure list. And I know in previous years, City Council has always been updated with an expenditure list, I believe every 2 weeks, and was also voted on it at every council meeting. But someone has took it off the agenda and is no longer on the agenda. And I don't know who took it off, but it's no longer on the agenda, and council has not been presented with an expenditure list thus far. Thank you.
I'm going to end off my comment with giving a mention of everything being a little new. We're going into transition period. Piggybacking off what Councilman Green said, I have still yet to meet with the receiver via my transition into City Hall, because I'm one of the people, because I was appointed and things were a little different for me in my transition coming in. I have 2 emails. One, as Madam Clerk mentioned this morning, some jumps back at people because it won't come through or different things like that. I'm just now getting a City Hall phone number as of this week, different things like that. So I do ask for everyone's patience when it comes as far as this new council and its transition with actually getting things done, because if we don't work together, it's not going to be a smooth transition. So I'm a full advocate of us working together and being on the same page when it comes into getting things done for the city. I just ask for everyone's patience in this new transition time. So thank you.
I'm sorry, I do have a question about the MFRAC meetings. That's a board, am I correct? It's a MFRAC board? And who's on that board? Who's supposed to be? Because it's my understanding, I think in the past, it has always been the mayor and the director of accounts and finance. But it should be at least 2 members of council, someone from the state, and I don't know, is it someone from the county on there too? You know, and that's what the board should consist of. It should be that way when you conduct your meetings.
I agree, and that's why I wanted to have an executive session after this so we can discuss that to see if the mayor is going to appoint a member of council to the NFRAC meeting. So that way there's the mayor and 1 council person on that committee.
Anyone else? All right, I got a few things here. I'll just, in no particular order, website updates came up today. Yes, the website is a little behind in getting updated. We have to take photos. We've got the old photos up. The phone numbers aren't up. There's a real, we aren't in full control inside of City Hall on our website, which is really unfortunate, and that's a direction we want to go. Anything that goes on the website has to go to a third party, and they put it up. So that's something that absolutely has to change, and we're working toward that. And I sincerely apologize that things aren't caught up on the website, because I want to say there should be no excuse for that. I guess that's the best way to put it. We're working to streamline what goes on the website. You could expect to see a whole new website design moving forward. Some of this occurred because of very minimal transition between one administration and the other. Without going into more details, expect website information to catch up. Asking questions in city council, you know, what it does is it just streamlines the process. You can't get your questions answered in 3 minutes and, you know, expect a 20-minute answer from us. Many times it's going to require some research, some digging. We respect your questions. I really believe better forums for asking questions is during our office hours. Maybe we should have, you know, larger times during the week that you guys can come by. I would much rather prefer to meet you guys out in the community. I've already made arrangements to meet people at the Access Center and their restaurant cafeteria area on the west side of town. On the east side of town, you know, we can meet in the Boys and Girls Club. Widener University has made space available. You know, Mayor and Council will be making ourselves available to the public out in the community where you are. I know a lot of people aren't comfortable coming here, period. Sort of the point that the Sheltons had made is that, you know, they do come on a regular basis, and we're really excited that we have regulars who come on city council, come to city council meetings, but many people don't come on a regular basis. You know, it almost becomes a club atmosphere when I look out here and see the same faces over and over and over again. It's great that you come in, and I'm not discouraging you from coming, but you know, wouldn't it be great if everybody in the city came? Obviously, we can't accommodate everybody. We have to meet the people where they are. We're going to be out in the community making it possible for you guys to meet us and our department heads where we are, to get your questions answered and to let you know where city government is going. Improving communications, Mr. Shelton, you are absolutely right. Improving communications is vital. As a person who was the community journalist from 2006 on, there was a time where you put it in the Daily Times and everybody read it. Now, show of hands, I really want to see a show of hands. When's the last time anybody bought a Daily Times? I mean, yeah. You know, so I see like 6 or 7 hands, and most of them are, I'm not going to say age, but of the older generation. What was it, Councilman Green? I saw you in the store buying a paper, and the first thing you said was, "Oh my God." I don't remember the price being this. I mean, they've priced general readers out. You know, people aren't spending $3.95 for a paper anymore. What's become the water cooler of our city is Facebook. Unfortunately, Ms. Shelton, it is where we do our communication out here. I am not a big fan of Facebook either. You don't see me posting stuff at all. I even went so far as to ask my advisors as we transition into this year, does the city really need to be on Facebook? And I was told yes. And that was the answer I wasn't expecting, but we do have a Facebook page. Mr. Tibbles, I think we not only have a Facebook page, but what else? Get to the mic. We're trying to cover all the socials. Not that that's going to satisfy Ms. Shelton, but go ahead. Let's talk about what. No, you're not the only one. I'm with you. I'm not on Facebook. People tell me what they're talking. She had to call me to tell me I was getting grinded up on Facebook. But go ahead. How are we going to handle improving our communications to the public?
Sure, Mr. Mayor. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Justin Tibbles, and I've started serving as Special Assistant to the Mayor and Constituent Affairs Manager for the City of Chester. I live up on 21st Street. I'm originally from Baltimore City, but I live here with my wife and my 2 little sons, and we've been here for about 7 years or so, so I'm really excited to be a part of what's happening in Chester. Along the lines of communication, as we mentioned, Facebook is probably the biggest way that the vast majority of people in Chester communicate. And so we are continuing to post things to Facebook, making sure that information is getting out there from the city page. But in addition to that, we're posting things, the same information to Twitter, to Instagram, and we're also working to post things to the website. As the mayor mentioned, there's been a little bit of lag in getting things updated, but I did take notes on all the comments and feedback that you had about pictures, contact information, as well as videos for the city's TV station channel. So we're working to get those up and running, trying to update those as much as we can. And if there are other ways that would be helpful for communication, I know that some people have talked about trying to get out posters and flyers and more physical things. So we are talking about that to make sure that people who aren't online will still get the information that they need to have. And for anyone who wants to be in contact with council or the mayor or just myself, please come find me afterwards, and I'd be happy to give you my contact information as well.
One more piece. Ms. Shelton asked about the public access channel, Channel 5 on Comcast. I think it's another number on Verizon. What's our move to get... I agree with you, Ms. Shelton. The stuff that I've seen on the public access channel for years has not been adequate. They've basically been PowerPoints on rotation with some funky music in the background. We should be reposting this council meeting on rotation. We should be having, the school board has their own public, that school board meeting should be posted. Our zoning board meetings should be posted. You know, all those things should be on constant rotation, as well as other content created by the community for the community. The one thing you can't do on these public access channels is do anything for profit. So we don't want anybody trying to sell their goods or services or stuff like that. There has been a lot of effort to bring this channel up to date, you know, to do this type of stuff, because we know there's people like yourself who would much rather click on to see what's going on and get current information. Do we know where we are in the process of getting that public access channel, the content that we deserve in this city.
Yes, sir. Yeah, again, the public access channel has been, less content there than some of these other avenues that I just mentioned. This council meeting is being live streamed on the city website right now. The video will be posted on the website. And it's also being streamed onto the public access channel, and we'll replay it there as well. I do apologize that the meeting on the 2nd was not live streamed and recorded. That was just technical, difficulties that we had. But moving forward, they will be live streamed and reposted in those places. And then, along with mayor and council and other members of the city departments, we'll be working on getting more videos and content, as the mayor just mentioned, onto that public access channel so that it is a more useful and helpful tool for the public.
So when we talk about fixing City Hall, one of the issues in City Hall that kind of prevented us from going on the channel is just the internet setup here in the building, which is being upgraded as well. Thank you. Ms. Regina Butcher, you had mentioned your organization, I Am My Sister's Keeper. We would love to work with you. I will express, and I'm surprised none of you guys brought it up, but we had the AKAs in here last week. I think we have one in here. Yeah. Or not. But they came to me maybe a month ago, and they wanted to get some information on, for their 10 to 13-year-old group. I forget the exact name, but it was the 10 and 13-year-olds who wanted more information about how government works. It wasn't the adults saying, you're going to go and learn. They wanted to learn. So we made City Council available to them. I just happened to be out of town. Chief of Staff Leonard Leitner kind of took over where I left off, but he put the invitation out to the brand new council members, of which I believe you were there, and you were there. So kind of give me a brief, one of you guys, just what was it like? Because I haven't even heard any feedback from either one of you, but I did hear back from Ms. Monica Bailey, Washington, and I didn't share this, but she said thank you, thank you, thank you, and a whole bunch of content after that. She really appreciated you guys' input.
So just to give a brief synopsis of what me, Councilman Green, and Chief Leitner did. We came in, gave the students, it was the ages, or grades, I'd rather say, 5th, 6th, and 7th graders from various elementary schools in the area, Chichester Elementary, Ridley, and I believe it was one more that I slipped in my mind. But we just kind of gave a mock trial of how city council works, answered some questions about how local government is conducted, Robert's Rule of Law, explaining actually how we conduct business in the proper manner, the proper channels. And really just connecting and really learning how the youth view government and what they can really get out of it. So that was a positive experience. And just a quick comment, Ms. Regina, is it? I'm also a mentor. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and we do Guide Right on Saturdays at Shiloh Baptist at 10 in the morning. And we would love to partner with your organization to have some young men as well as young women get some positive guidance from local leaders in the community. So I would love to connect with you after the city council meeting so we can discuss that if possible. Thank you so much.
It was a great experience to work with them, and what was really unique is that the kids, they held a mock city council meeting, and one of the issues on the agenda was to raise taxes. 3 voted to raise taxes and 2 voted not to raise taxes. And so it was good how, the 3 expressed why we should raise taxes, and then the 2 expressed why we shouldn't raise taxes. And so it was really good, and that's what we need, more young people getting involved and learning how government works and how the legislative process works. And so we're going to be doing more programs like that. We're going to be working with the chief and the mayor and, trying to get more young people involved in city government because they are the future. Me and Shaquan, we're the youngest on here, and we all won't be here forever. And so at some point, we'll have to pass the baton to the younger generation, and it's good that we're going to be able to equip them with the knowledge and the skills on how to run a council meeting and to learn all about the legislative process. So the Chief Leitner, we were just talking about the AKAs and their involvement and what they did, so thank you for putting that together. So it was a great experience, and the kids, and it was their decision to come here. They had a list of projects they can do, and their idea was to come to City Hall. So it was great, and we look forward to more sessions like that.
So thanks again, you guys for participating, because when I say last minute invite to participate, it was probably less than 24 hours when these guys were made aware that this was going to happen. It was going to be canceled in my absence, but Chief Leitner stepped in, and it would have been really tough to bring the kids back because they already have something scheduled out every 2 weeks. I'm so happy you guys participated because it meant a lot. It meant a lot to those kids. And to the point that you guys are the youngest, that really means that if you make a career of this, if you're going to be a career politician, those kids are going to be voting for you in a future election. So it's really important to connect to kids, to go into these schools and let them know what we do and get them involved just like you are now. I think that's important. 2 more things. Street lights, traffic lights. Yeah, it's a problem around town. You guys drive. You know there's some corners where the lights are just too long or too short. Bring it to our attention so we can just do maybe a citywide survey. We're doing street surveys anyway. I don't know if street lights are involved, but when I leave here and I go up Welsh, when I get to 7th, I might as well just open up a book or a newspaper. I mean, you're going to be sitting there for 4 or 5 minutes. Now, there's 5 ways that traffic has to go, but I really think there's a lot of there may be more than a couple corners in our city that need to be addressed as far as timing. So let us know so we can address that. Lastly, expenditure reports. You guys are missing expenditure reports. Those weren't expenditure reports. Those were check runs. These were the checks that were released the month before. You don't have to approve that. What we want to do in each department, though, is reconcile for each department what you've spent, how much money you have left. That's the direction we're going. That's how we're directing our controller to operate in the future, that these reports will be available for each department so you can see how the money's flowing in and out of your departments. It should be available monthly. You should be able to reconcile your books monthly. Okay. We just haven't used our controller in that capacity, and that's by 3rd-class city code. That's the job of controller. But hold on 1 second. I was surprised to see on the receiver's website, he does have those check runs. Are you going to continue to put those on your site? What's the site name? ChesterReceivership.com. ChesterReceivership.com. So that very document that you guys are looking for. No. That's a website. ChesterReceivership.com. Now, I know he took the note that you haven't been able to view the MFRAC meetings. I know they are on your website, but maybe they're not caught up.
They're on YouTube, they're on our website, and we'll get with Justin here after the meeting to figure out how to best simulcast it again. But Facebook is just one of several outlets.
Okay, so we just need to understand where they're archiving the recordings, YouTube and his website. Is there anything else from council? Thank you, Mr. Solicitor, for stepping in today. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
If there's no other matters. Oh, executive session after this. Do we have to make a motion to adjourn the meeting? Is that how we do this? Okay. I make that motion? Okay.
Just you.
Just me? Oh, well, I make a motion that this meeting is adjourned.
You mean from the fires? Mm-hmm.